Thank you so much for joining me, fabulous Jane. We are here to talk a little bit about the productivity circle that is called Get Shiz Done with Chenae. And Jane participated in the pilot round and very kindly, very, very kindly volunteered to share a little bit about her own experience. So, Jane, tell us, what did you get out of this experience?
What I've enjoyed about the program so far has been that connection with other people who are running their own, especially women running their own small businesses. And I find that, when we're exploring a particular topic, it's that two components of learning from other people, the little tips and tricks that they do that you can sort of cherry pick and go, well, that'll work for me in my business and I might try that. But also, it's coming back to topics that for me have been a constant in the business, but it's that regular review of the topic and then that sort of refresher reminder component that allows me to refine how my business is running and just the basic day-to-day activities of my business that when we first start out, we get really focused on those, but then as we go along and we're in the flow of things, they can get forgotten. So it's been a really good way to come back, review those, refine the process, and go forward again. So I've really enjoyed those two components of the program.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I asked Jane to share whatever she was happy to share. So thank you for that. Is there, I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anything like specific that you have done or have you taken from something that we've done maybe in one of our live calls or maybe in a planning session or something like that that has been like an example of what you've just talked about? Is there anything that you can kind of add to that?
Yeah, so I know like we did a session on business as usual, so the BAUs and creating our sort of business as usual list. And I always had that written out in my notebook and then I would come back to it every time I would go back to doing my planning and rewrite it. And I think because I've had an injury recently and I've been quite immobile, trying to get my books from place to place has not been easy. But what I've found worked is working for me now is that because I run on Apple products, I am an Apple girl, having the Apple Notes and being able to access it across devices has worked for me to put my business as usual list in the Apple Notes with the little check boxes in there. And I've even color coded them into different colors for like where it's daily, weekly, monthly, fortnightly sort of thing. And so I have like a main to-do list, which is sort of like my template. So when I come back and review my business as usual to-do list, whenever we do that or do it with my planning, I can just change that one. But then when I come to doing like my daily or weekly to-do list where I'm just like, right, like today I've got time to sit and do my business as usual, I can grab what I want from there, put it in my daily to-do list, and then tick those off nicely.
Yeah.
And I know that I've kept on track with what's going on. So for me, that's been a little bit like just simplifying how I run it. And then I'm not forgetting things that I would normally go, look back at my notebook and go, oh my gosh, I wrote that down back in January and I haven't done it
Yeah.
for the last 6 months. So it's been really good from that perspective to just refine those processes. And then I feel like my business is running a little bit smoother each time. So yeah.
I love that because for anyone who might be watching, we did a call on business as usual, and then we kind of took it a little bit further because knowing what business as usual is in and of itself quite a big deal. It's not insignificant. And then what I guided everybody through was like, how do we make sure this happens? Because it's all well and good to like document it, but then how, as Jane was saying, how do we make sure these things actually get done? And what's weekly, what's fortnightly, and that's every 2 weeks for those who don't use the term fortnightly. I realize that that's not a global term. And what happens monthly and different kind of frequencies. And what Jane is explaining is a perfect example of taking that information and adapting it and using it in a way that works for her. So, I'm definitely not a this is how it should be done, but I'm a here are some considerations. How can you make sure that you are supporting yourself and setting that up? And I love that you've shared a really cool and what I would also say is a very helpful example because you've also shared this in the group when we were on the live call and you've done some different things and shared some things and people can then try that on like you're in the shopping center and you're trying on a new dress or something, they can try that on, see how it works, maybe adapt it, maybe mold it. But you've been a really great inspiration to everybody in the group. So, not everybody just comes
I
from
get
a,
the level dopamine hit of ticking off. Like I love the ticking off, and then I love having like that to daily do list just go down there and it's all ticked off. And
yeah,
I come back later when I clean out my notes and get rid of that because I know I've already done it, but I get that momentary sort of pleasure of like that's ticked off and that's ticked off and I've been really productive today.
yeah,
um so, and it's been that, that extension of like everything's, planned into my online diary, so I know I've got time booked out for those particular activities. But like you said, it's sticking to the plan, and it's taken away that thing of like, okay, today's my business as usual admin day.
yeah,
What am I doing? Like, I can't remember what I'm doing, but it's like, well, if I can't remember what I should be doing, I just go back to my list and pull off what I should be doing. And then, hey, presto, we're on. So,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
definitely more concise productivity, and I feel a little bit more, um, accomplished, and I get more time down too because I've done what I needed to do in a much shorter period of time. So,
yeah. I don't
yeah.
know about you, but I think that efficiency is so rewarding. It's so rewarding because the downtime is what we do these businesses for. It's what
Yeah.
I'm here for. I'm all for the
Yeah.
outside of the business time. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
makes it a
Yeah.
really big deal. Excellent. So good. Well, thank you so much for joining me. If anyone wants to come and join me and Jayne and a group of fabulous other small business owners in the I say get shiz done because I don't want to be beeped out for an expletive, but let's be honest, it's a get shit done productivity circle. We have the doors open officially now for July, August, and September. You can come and join for a quarter at a time, but it's in monthly installments. So you don't have to pay for the whole 3 months up front. If you'd love to come and join us, go ahead, click on that button, and we will welcome you in with open arms and open hearts. Thanks so much, Jayne.
You're welcome. Thank you.